Welcome back, everybody, to the Mike Alberta YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to. You know how I'm going to do these videos, short, sweet, to the point. And today's video is going to be about judgment. Where judgment comes from, a couple little tips that I've used to help me overcome the judgments and the fear of them. So I'm going to get right into it. First and foremost, judgment comes from the fear of being outcast. Years and years and years ago, when we were still tribes and tribal people, if we were outcast, it was pretty much a death sentence. Okay, you couldn't survive on your own back then. So the fear of judgment and the fear of being pushed out of the tribe has kind of been an instinct that has evolved with us. Obviously, that instinct has evolved into different fears than what they used to be, but the basis of those fears still remain, is that you don't want to be an outcast in society. It's a shitty feeling. The basis of those fears are still very much alive. Nobody wants to be an outcast. Nobody wants to be pushed out of their tribe, so to speak. So we still have a lot of that primal instinct and the primal fears that we used to way back when. So I'm just going to give you guys a couple of, not really tips and tricks, but just some thought processes that I've developed and kind of taught myself over the last couple of years to help me cope with not only the fear, but I overcame a lot of judgment that had already been passed down on me, if that makes sense. So the first little tip I have is that you have to realize that nothing lasts forever. You know, from anything as simple as going to a movie, you know, being excited about a new movie, a couple days after you see the movie, you kind of forget that you saw it. The hype from it dies down. That is also true for judgments. It's also true for when you have a fear of something, or if you meet somebody and you pass a judgment on them, chances are a couple of days later, you forget that it even happened. You forget the encounter happened. You forget what you thought of that person. And once you go home and you kind of settle back in, that thought has already left your mind tenfold. So you have to realize that nothing is going to last forever, whether it's positive or negative. Everything has its own cycle of coming into and out of your mind. You know, the brain limits its data reserves. So unless it's something that has dramatically traumatized you or has dramatically made a positive impact on your life, most of those judgments are going to pass. They're going to come and go. The second thing is that you have to realize that judgment is unavoidable. You know, you can't change or control how people think or what they think. And that includes their thoughts of you. Something you can do for that is to try and see things from their perspective and see if maybe their judgment holds any water. If you're going to go and, you know, maybe bring an idea to somebody, maybe your boss, or maybe you have a meeting, you work in an office setting and you have a meeting and you're afraid to bring your ideas to the team. Ask them what they could possibly think. What could they possibly judge about your ideas or about what you have to say? You could also ask yourself, how are you going to judge them? If they bring an idea to the table, you're obviously going to have some kind of judgment and some kind of feeling towards what they brought to the table as well. So this kind of goes back to the whole circle of judgment. It comes and it goes. But you have to realize that it is unavoidable and that you have to find a way to cope with it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you do have to find a way to cope with it. Another thing is, honestly, let them fucking judge. Let them judge you. If it's unavoidable, let it happen. Let yourself go through it. Build up a tolerance. Convince yourself to let it happen, and push yourself through it. You'll learn a lot about yourself as well. You'll really build up some fucking mental toughness when it comes down to this kind of thing. Learn how to get over it. Learn how to get through it. Learn how you react to some severe judgments. Learn how you feel. Learn how the judgments make you feel. This all goes back to the unavoidable judgment that will pass. These things are all kind of falling in line with each other if you haven't been able to tell yet. Let them judge. Let it fucking happen. again, you're going to judge people too. That's just how the human mind works. That's how it is, okay? This is going to lead me into my final point, and this is kind of one of the biggest things that you could do to help get over the judgment fear, is that notice your own judgments. I've kind of been dropping this a little bit throughout the whole video. Notice your own judgments. You are going to judge people. Like I said 20 fucking seconds ago, you are going to judge people. That is how the human mind works. Okay? It goes back to the tribal thing. You have to, it's also kind of a defense mechanism. You're judging people so that they can't judge you first. Okay? If you have your own thoughts on somebody, it's going to make their judgments either more standoffish, okay? You're going to be able to deflect them a little bit, or they're not going to seem as harsh because you've already passed your judgments on them, and if you decide this person sucks, their judgment is not going to matter as much as if they were able to get it off to you first. So take a step back when you catch yourself doing something like that. You know, try and ask yourself, what good is it going to do? How is this going to affect my life down the road? How is it going to possibly affect my relationship or the lack thereof of my relationship with this person? Change the focus of your judgment. You know, if you decide you don't like this person, if you just straight up decide that this person sucks, instead of saying this person sucks, why do they suck? This person never commits fully. This person is always late. This person is always doing yada da da da. Change the focus point of your judgment into something that can, for a lack of a better term, be constructive. You'll learn a lot about yourself and your mental ability to process other people, their ideas, what they say, different things like that. So, real quick, I'll recap. Number 1, nothing lasts forever, okay? Number 2, judgment is unavoidable. Number 3, let it fucking happen. Let them judge you. Let them judge you. I want that one to sink in more so than the other 2 that I've already mentioned. Let them fucking judge you. You have to be able to deal with these opinions. You have to. It is crucial to life. And the 4th and final one is notice your own judgments. Change the focal point of the judgment you're making of somebody. Try and turn it into a constructive situation where you can not only learn about yourself, but learn about life. Learn how to cope with these difficult things that life will throw at you. Okay? That's all I got for you guys. Like I said, these videos are going to be short and to the point. I'm not doing editing. I'm not doing these fucking intros or anything like that. I already mentioned what I had to mention at the beginning. I will see you guys in the next one, and thank you for watching.